Well, howdy diddly dandy there, chums, 'tis I, Captain of Steves, and today, chums, for you guys out there in the viewerverse, I'm just hitting up No Man's Sky, and I'm just going to see how many days are left remaining on the expedition. So let's just come off the screen a little bit so you can see what I can see. So what I can see down here with my eye peepers is 3 days remaining for the Breach expedition. Now, I've got a couple of theories, people, on why I think this may be a thing. Well, chums, going back to February of 2024, we had an expedition that was free to play. Play for free is the way that they touted it, as you can see there. And it ran for a whole weekend for free. Thursday the 15th to Monday the 19th of February, we're allowing everyone, whether you own the game or not, to join the Omega Expedizione. Now, if Hello Games was to put in another expedition that allowed people to create their own Corvette, their own custom ship that they're going to love to bits and go, whoa, look at this custom ship I've made. And not only that, at the end of that expedition, the ability to rerun the expeditions from the previous year in the Redux, I think that would be a massive selling point for No Man's Sky to attract new players in, because one, they're going to get given their own custom ship, and two, they're going to get a free expedition that they get to run there and then. But then on after that, they're going to get touted, we're doing this Redux, this is the perfect time for you to jump in and catch up at least on the last year's worth of content to get all these time-limited resources and rewards. I know I'd be very tempted to say, you know what, take my frickin' money. This has been a great experience, it's been a great weekend, and I don't want it to end. I think this might be another mini expedition, at least the size of maybe Omega. Something fun, something that's a little bit more action-packed, and something that entices people to play. And I think it's going to have that sort of feeling of customization there too. And so, player-driven narrative. It's probably going to have us building a base that we're going to care about, and a Corvette that we're going to care about. Not throwaway stuff that we get to keep that comes over into our general area of play. I think it might be quite a special expedition, people. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, 3 days remaining. I mean, if this was a bug, like I initially thought, if this was a bug, yeah, I think we would probably have seen them rectify it by now. I mean, we all know how quick Hello Games are to fix things that are broken. I mean, I say that rather tongue-in-cheek and rather loosely, though, because what I'm alluding to now is the multiplayer. The multiplayer inside of No Man's Sky has gone from bad to worse. It used to be held together by a prayer and a piece of sticky tape. Well, that sticky tape is long far expired. It kind of feels like it's prick stick now at this point, people. It seems you've got a choice. If you want to play with Corvettes, turn off your multiplayer, because with multiplayer, Corvettes just falls apart. Or, if you want to play in multiplayer, don't use a Corvette. It seems to be one or the other. But saying that, I mean, I've been doing my Halloween base tours inside of No Man's Sky, and when you even go to like the portal and you want to see all the bases that are in that one system, the base names sometimes inherit your base name. Like pretty much every base that I look at now is called the Captain Steve 07 bar, because that's what I call my base on the planet. And not only that, thumbnails, the images that people have taken of their base, seem to be copied and pasted all over the frickin' shop, so you don't know even whose base you're going to or what base you're going to see when you get there. It just as something as simple as that is broken. Okay, the ability to click on somebody's base and for it to download successfully, broken. That doesn't even work either. So using a portal to navigate bases is fudge. You know? Alright, okay, here we go. Radio. So other bases. Let's have a look, see if we can find this haunted mall or whatever. Now, they don't always put the right names on bases, which doesn't make it easier either. So let's see, haunted mall, haunted. See, look, it says Captain Steve's 07 bar. Right, who was the person that mentioned this haunted mall? Well, let's have a look. Let's see if I can find it. Have you checked O Magla NMS? Well, you can see here, O Magla NMS, a lot of them are inheriting either screenshots. I mean, look, they've all got the same screenshot, or my base name, Captain Steve's 07 bar, across multiple. If it is here, I might not even know, because at the moment, well, I would say it's not even at the moment, really, is it? I mean, it's just cack at the moment. Well, not just at the moment, all the time. It's just cack. New horrific swampland. Well, I'll go there while we're waiting, or try. It's trying to download. I was just talking to Taste Scoop, right? Okay, I'll go and have a quick look at this. I mean, they showcased their unable to download. Well, that's just fudging marvellous, isn't it? So, you see, now if that's fudged, you can imagine what the rest is like. I mean, actually, you don't have to imagine, because I can tell you, about 90% of the time, bases will render to their most basic of form. You might get to see the shell of a base. But then maybe 50% of the time after that, it's hit and miss whether you're going to see the interior and all the little nooks and crannies and every single bells and whistles that people have placed in there. It's very hit and miss. You get missing floor panels that you're going to fall through. You're going to end up falling into the weld. It's just not great. The whole experience at the moment for base tours and base visits isn't great. And that could be because when I'm actually touring a base, somebody would then come and land either their Corvette on planet right next to that base, and then it's got to render in all the parts that they've stapled and stuck onto their Corvette before it renders the base, because it looks like Corvettes have been given a higher priority. Or somebody might call in their freighter into the system, and that's got a base on it too. And that might even then have their Corvette landed on it. And it tries to render all that. I don't know, people. It just feels that Hello Games, now that they've added in all these abilities to make mobile bases as well as fixed site bases, there isn't really any separation of the two. And it tries to pull all of those things into the RAM or the cache or the memory of whatever device you're on, and maybe it just falls over. But I've had it where I've gone to a base and there is no Corvette, there is no freighter, and I'm still waiting there for a good 5 to 15 minutes before even just the basic shell of the base starts to appear. And I've even joined people in their groups and still had the same problems. I really, really hope by the end of this year, by the end of 2025, I mean, I've just mentioned that we may all be running the reduxes and the redos of all of these missions. The reason why I said redos is I had actually somebody hit me up and said, Captain Steve, it's not pronounced redux. The French pronounce it redos. I'm like, you do realise that the word redux is actually a Latin word, and it's been there way into the past. Redux is actually really a word, and the way I'm pronouncing it is freaking correct. Anyway, that's a side tangent of fun, isn't it, really? But I really do think Hello Games needs to knuckle down over this period where the community isn't expecting any sort of a massive update or any sort of thing. We know Hello Games normally goes away over the festive period and we don't see them emerge again from hibernation until February. But during this time, from the end of November through to February, we are running the reduxes of the expeditions. We've got something to do. The community's busy. I would like to hope Hello Games can use this time to improve multiplayer stability, base rendering, the multiplayer aspects, the way that parts are handled, the way that they actually render in. Because at the moment, I would say doing base tours and events on planets is near impossible. And it's more so for the people that have taken the time to build the bases as to why I'm saying this. I mean, I'm going there to visit them and take a look around. And if I can't showcase everything that they've managed to throw into there, every little piece of love that they've added in, it almost feels like I'm doing a disservice not only to myself, but to the person that built the base and all the people that are watching, you know? So it's a knock-on effect. And it's not great for anyone that's taken part or anybody that's just there to watch. It's not really doable. So I was going to be doing a festive period type one, find a nice wintry planet, and we all build Christmassy bases and Christmas inspired things. But I don't think I'm going to be doing that inside of No Man's Sky. And I was thinking maybe of continuing to give away these, these bits and bobs that we got from the expedition, the wreck rangefinder thing, the debris rangefinder thing, and the orbital uplinks. I was going to be giving those away. But even that, oh, and looking at people's Corvettes as I do so, but even that, when people do bring in their Corvettes, I can be standing at their landing pad and waiting a good 3 minutes before it starts to render in. And during that time, somebody else will fly in and their Corvette will inhabit the exact same landing pad as the one that I've been waiting for. And then when it does render in, you get this big, lovely Frankenstein of a mess. Yeah, that happens too. I kind of feel, I mean, this is quite a decent image to have up in the background right now. So this is the old style space stations from going back a few years, and it's all been revamped now. And it works a lot nicer and looks a lot nicer. But I think that now that we have these Corvettes, I kind of feel that the way that the landing pads are done for the Corvettes feels like a bit of an afterthought. It does feel like this update was shoehorned in. And it just about fits, but it's a bit of a tight fit, It feels that the system, the whole game, needs to breathe a little and get a little bit larger. Just like our ships have got a little bit larger, the rest of the game needs to. But it almost feels like perhaps maybe Hello Games has hit limitations at the lower end of the spectrum and are struggling with keeping everything running smoothly for the older generations of console. And that is alarmingly evident in the way that they have treated perhaps the Nintendo Switch 1. They've always called the Nintendo Switch 1 a version of No Man's Sky, not the same version that everybody is on, granted. But on side of Hello Games' own website, they almost allude to that you can do everything that's inside of Breached Expedition on the Nintendo Switch. And not only that, not only on their website, but also on Sean Murray's Twitter page. Let me just show you.
Captain Steve, oh Captain Steve, oh Captain. Heck yeah, why not hit that like and subscribe? Thank you very much.
Okay, so over on the No Man's Sky website, or the Hello Games' No Man's Sky website, when you look at the release log, it actually shows you what platforms certain updates and releases are on. And you can see there Nintendo and Nintendo Switch 2 is not even mentioned. But you scroll on down a little bit, you've got Expedition 20 Breach. It says Nintendo Switch 1 and 2. So it almost looks like it is available for the Nintendo Switch 1 and 2. I mean, it's there in black and white, clear as platinum crystal. So it does make you wonder, well, why isn't it on the Nintendo Switch 1? Now, Nintendo of America retweeted out, well, they put out a tweet that Sean Murray then reposted. The Sean and the Murrays right there reposted this. And it says here, the Breach update has landed in No Man's Sky. Explore spooky new systems, salvage the wreck of the Fireship Arcadia, and earn exclusive ship parts, free for existing players, on Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch. No. No. Voyagers, Nintendo Switch 1 is still back on beacons. So they didn't get beacons because they can't see settlements, okay? And they can't see these lovely fandangly Corvettes. But what this alludes to is maybe they might be able to. But with 3 days remaining and no new update to the Nintendo Switch 1, I don't think that's feasibly possible. Now, I did see that good old Professor Cynical's already picked up on this and done a video. It was a bloody good video. And yeah, and he read through all of these, and look, there's his video right there. You can go hit his video up from this, which is a little bit weird, and you're scrolling down and you can see the backlash from the community inside of these posts. And I think they've got every right to be a little bit disgruntled on this one. In fact, more so, because it kind of feels like it's misrepresentation of what they're actually getting. I mean, you would read that from Nintendo and think, oh, okay, well, I've got a Nintendo Switch. This seems like a fun thing. I'll go and buy No Man's Sky. Get in there to play Breach. Doesn't work. It's not good. It's not good at all, people. It's far from good. There's no other word for it, really, is there? Right, so back to what I think is probably a positive to take away from this video, is I kind of feel that if this isn't a bug on the whole 3 days remaining to run Breached, or the Breach Expedition, I kind of feel that it could be that we might get another expedition that's free to play, that entices more players in. And I really do hope it pays off for them, I do. And I kind of hope that over the festive period, we get a couple of things from Hello Games. One, I hope that they do some sort of official announcement on what's going on for Nintendo Switch 1 players. Are they trying their best to get settlements to work, get the Corvettes to work, and ship parts? The reason being is right now, a lot of people will buy No Man's Sky on PC or on their main console or whatever, and if they have got a Nintendo Switch, they would hope to play No Man's Sky on the go and use the cross-save feature. I mean, that was the whole selling point for Nintendo Switch 1, was that you could play No Man's Sky on the go. Well, now, if you do try to use the cloud save feature and you try to play your legacy save on your Nintendo Switch 1, it's just going to say type mismatch, and it's not going to let you play it because there's just things that aren't there anymore. It just doesn't work. So I really feel that we need an official statement from Hello Games to say the No Man's Sky on Nintendo Switch is very much its own version. And sadly, it's not going to have all the bells and whistles of every other version of No Man's Sky, and therefore cross-save isn't going to really work with it any longer. Or they could just do a statement to say, look, Nintendo Switch, we're trying our best right now to try and make it so you can play No Man's Sky, the best version of No Man's Sky on the Switch. We're trying quite hard to bring you the Corvettes, or we're trying quite hard to bring you in the settlements. And we're looking at ways to get the cross-play to work, even if it comes up and says that certain features are not enabled. If they said something like that, I think that will really help the Nintendo Switch community. So that's the first thing I think Hello Games needs to do. I think that should be a priority, mainly because the way things are worded on websites, Twitter feeds, news channels, places outside of their control, I don't think any of this is doing their reputation any good for some of the Nintendo community and audience. And I think there's other people that are even nervous that perhaps the way that Nintendo Switch 1 are being treated could be the way it might go for PlayStation 4 or Xbox in future on the base models, mainly because PlayStation 4 didn't get this latest update until a week later. And there was, again, radio silence, no communication, no nothing. And they were like, oh, okay. Does that mean that PlayStation 4 is now in the same boat as Nintendo Switch 1? There was a lot of that going on. And if you don't think there was, I see this inside of my comments. I see this inside of my DMs. As being a content creator, people feed into content creators with their concerns. I saw those as genuine, legit concerns. So I think Hello Games needs to do a little piece, a little bit of a community airing to say exactly what's going on with Nintendo Switch. Next, I think Hello Games should focus on the multiplayer aspect. Not just for No Man's Sky, because, you know, if they fix the problems inside of No Man's Sky, that means that there's going to be community confidence and player confidence in picking up Light No Fire. I mean, Light No Fire, we're all on one planet, building on one planet. Now, I've tried doing this just for my Halloween event. If you've been watching my Halloween build event videos, I mean, I'll put a link at the end to the whole playlist. Go and watch me going from base to base just on that one Halloween playlist, okay? And try and imagine the chaos that might ensue if we're all building. We're talking thousands of players, not hundreds. I mean, my community planet states that it's got 100 bases on it one day. The next day it says 70 something. And I can actually see the number changing from 100. It counts down, it ticks down. I don't know how many bases are actually there. But if we are going with an average of, say, let's just say 60 bases. It's struggling at 60 bases. I can only really see about probably 16 bases inside of the base computer at one given time. Actually, probably a bit more than that. Probably about 21 top end. 16 on a bad day, 21 on a good day. That's kind of where it sits at the moment in the portal terminus. But then if I try and go to one of those bases, like I said, it doesn't even download the base. All the images don't match up. There's a lot of problems, but please go and watch that playlist and then you would see why I think Hello Games really needs to focus on fixing multiplayer and community cohesion when it comes to bases and rendering. Because, like I say, fix it in No Man's Sky. Hopefully it's going to raise confidence that it can work inside of Light No Fire. Because right now I'm thinking, oh my days, if they can't get it right working for like 20 players on a planet in No Man's Sky, how are they going to get it to work for thousands of players at once on one planet inside of Light No Fire? You can see the logic in that question, right? But anyway, people, I'm going to be ending off now. Salute to Mondo. Goodbye, goodbye. And goodbye again, people.
Steve